What is creative awareness? What does that mean? Because you said you consult in creative awareness.
My title is, I made my own title.
Yeah.
Creativity Awareness Educator, meaning creativity, I believe, is the first superpower, creativity. And I think we talked about this before. And then human dialogue, the podcasting, the human, where it's not about right or wrong, but helping each other to gain more, coming to a solution. I mean, it's like this day, we didn't know what we were talking about. And you see that power, how powerful this is. We were saying before this podcast, we don't know what to talk about. We forgot. We wanted to talk about something and we forgot. But we both were willing to dance. Are you willing to dance? Sure. And I see what comes out of it, you know? and so I'm educating by experiencing, because I'm preaching what I live, you know? Mm-hmm. And the creativity is number one. Everything is created, you know, language, time, everything is a creation of human being. And then the second is the dialogue, because we can then get a feeling for, I mean, imagine this. 8 billion people have one language, art. They can you sing, I can understand it in Russia, in Japan, in anywhere, on Alaska, everywhere. I can understand that. I draw a little stick figure, everybody can understand it. So we are given a language that we can communicate with. And then the uniqueness of 8 billion people, how do I communicate with them? How can I actually use that language with our 6 senses? We all, 8 billion people, have 6 senses, unless you're blind or deaf. But you have generally 6 senses. The 6th sense I call the resonance, if you resonate with something or not. So you get, you know, you have your here, probably you have more, but till now I could only find 6 senses.
May I ask you something at this point? What do you call art? What do you call art? Because I mean, we are used to perceiving art as something in galleries, as something in the opera, in whatever designated places where you consume art. What is art? Because
this is good. This is super that you asked that, because so now what is it meaning system-centric? It is about the product, the opera, the theater, the sculpture, the painting, the poetry, the song. That is a system. It's all about the thing. It doesn't matter how that artist came by it, if he stole it, if he put 3 or 4 things together. It really doesn't matter, as long as I get attention. It's basically like social media. I get attention and people say, I'm an artist. And on the human-centric, when you look at the energy, just feel that energy of art. What does it want? It doesn't want anything else but being created and exposed. So if I'm painting a picture right now and I show it to you in a half an hour, that's all I need to do. I can show it to my little kids, or I can show it to my grandmother, or I can show it to a friend, or I can show it to a little group of 5 people. Art doesn't say you have to be famous, you have to be society, a system has to say you are an artist. It just wants to be created. That's why it is the highest form of creation. See, I can be creative and create a better iPhone, a better Nike shoe, a better, Google. That is a contextual creation, which we have. Everybody has the superpower of creation. That's why I call it's the superpower. But the highest form is basically a conversation with your non-physical, which you are always at night. You're dead at night. You're not conscious that you're alive. So when people have fear of death, I say you're dying every night. So, and then you wake up. So you just go have a conversation. For example, you stand in front of a canvas or silence, and you hear that sound. And Serena just had this little bell, and I hear that sound. Oh, I think that is, and that inspires you. Because you can have a bell that doesn't inspire, that repulses me. But you have a bell. I said, what is that, Serena? Oh, that's a Tibetan bell. and you make that sound, and I make out of that sound, I make something, because the sound is beautiful with the space, which is silence. And so then you start integrating and playing around. Okay, what is if I put a flute to this? This reminds me of flute. It wouldn't remind me of a big drum. It would just, perhaps it does, but I'm saying everything is possible. And then you come to a place where the song is so much finished, where you can't just say, I want to just, I think violin is in every, or electric guitar is in every song. I'm just one electric. It doesn't fit. So it pivots. It pivots over to, oh my God, and you created life. You basically created substance, something that has its own life, that has its own rules, that requests for you to do certain things and not do certain things. Now, if that's not a superpower, I don't know, and it defines what you do. And with every invention that happens, because you think you're gonna, the iPad was first, invented, and then they made an iPhone. So they actually want to do an iPad first and then the iPhone. So it's changes even with defined creativity that you want to do. And the third one is adaptation. We talked about that. That's the third superpower. And all these three as human-centric. Do you understand? Do you hear how I explain them? Not, oh, your creativity is this. There's so much written about systemically about creativity. No, it's an experiential learning. You can't.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if it's product creation or product innovation. It doesn't come from this unconscious place where, not necessarily. Ideally, it should also come from there if it's the top level of innovation, but it's usually not. It's a process. People follow a process to reach this point, and in this case, it's still artificial creativity. It's not human.
Yeah,
it's supposed to serve people, but it's supposed to serve the system in the end. So you're creating a product so that the whole system.
That's where the problem is. Yeah. That's where the problem is. See, that's where all my, and I wrote this last book, The Smart of Art. I wrote that because I said I couldn't believe, and I discovered it by creating it. I can't believe that 97 to 99% of artists are poor. And the thing is that they're poor, not only that because, it's a product like everything else. And, when you create bicycles and they don't sell, you go into suits next time, or you try that. That's bad in business because they're not attached to this. But when you're an artist and you created this bicycle and this bicycle doesn't sell, then, it's bad luck. And then you feel that very real, but you don't see that the art product is going back market and monopoly rules. If you can ask for money if people want it. If people don't want it, so the real worth of art creation is in the creation. And when you are fulfilled, we want this podcast to be great.
In the process of creation, you mean, or in the final product of creation?
In the process of creation, that is for example,
human-centric, and in the final creation is already
it's whatever you throw it out, because it is our very good, well explained here. Our episode, when you clean it up and you send it out, will be the product, but it has value if people find it, like it, and then it goes viral or not. But only, 1% of all podcasts go viral, or less than 1%, So also the thing. So if we don't make this fulfilling for us, for you and me, and dive into this, then the product will also be only average. So the chance to make this product really good is that you and I are fulfilled in that dance that we dance right now. That's the only way. There's all the manipulation. Everybody uses all the manipulation. Don't say that word. Don't say that word. Do this way. Be perfectly dressed. Have this. It's all. It can work and it cannot work.
So that means that anybody who's creating art, if they're involved in this dance, be it with their higher self, with their
higher self or non-physical. I don't
exactly,
really
or
go
with somebody
spiritual.
else. Yeah. So that would increase the chances of success of the final product of creation as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The clearer that conversation is, and Zarina, the fun thing is, if I put you in the woods in a cabin, guess what? You're still a social animal. You have no animal. You're just in the woods, and what are you doing? You're talking to yourself. You're always a social. You cannot be a non-social animal. You are social, no matter if you feel lonely. That is an emotion that has to go through you. But if you feel you're never ever lonely, you always.
It's your makeup to be social. Now, whether there's somebody around you or not is a different question.
Yeah. And there's people with a million people around them, and they are lonely. They feel the same emotion.
We started this talk talking about the current developments in Russia and the whole story with the submarine.
Yeah.
Shall we repeat it again? Do you want to talk about it or not really?
I think it's a thing how system-centric we have become our lifestyles. Because the story obviously of the Titanic, of that submarine, is a perfect story. It has the Titanic, which is a archetypal story tool for humans, which is art. That is, it has become
if it wasn't legend. That, it was probably going to be something about World War II.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it has, billionaires. So system, the monopoly
relevant
kings.
People, yeah.
Relevant people. Exactly. And we want to learn. And I see the reason why people all of a sudden, when something like that happens, or the war and stuff happens, people want to. We are so system conditioned that we believe that when we know more news or more stuff, we will get wise. We will have awareness and know what to do.
Or you would know more than the other people, and you have the upper hand. So it's again
exactly, yeah. And it's and knowledge is not power. Awareness is power. Knowledge is as long as you have which is the whole system hamster wheel, self-destruction. As long as you have the most knowledge and keep everything secret, you can manipulate with that. Right. The moment somebody else does, you're not out. And this is very interesting because a lot of medicine is discovered in Australia, similar than in Vienna, for example. So, they have never talked to each other. They couldn't systemically find any connection. And so when the collective consciousness
fields. I don't know if you're aware.
When they want something, or when that is nature, is bringing that in, it's come in no matter what, in the good and in the bad. If we have, communism there, then it's going to be everywhere. It comes in when it wants to come in, because it knows better what we need to learn, So
what do we need to learn from the whole story with the submarine? Is there any learning or
I think that awareness. I think there's awareness that is beautiful, because it's a mixture between human-centric, because those are the icons, billionaires doing something unique, finding the Titanic that wasn't available. So that is discovery, right? Discovery learning. So people are interested in that because there's so many topics in it. If it was just one thing, it would be something else. But it isn't one thing. It is a lot of things, and they are overlapping, and they create a vortex, and we are interested in it and saying, okay, seems interesting. So if you were not interested in submarines, but you were interested in Titanic, you still plug it in, because you say, oh my God, look at this.
So it was a well-selected story to fit in everybody's.
I think it wasn't it was. You say it was a
I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I'm not saying that it didn't happen. No.
Yeah, it's a perfect story. It's a perfect storm.
Yeah.
Right. It's a perfect media storm. But the problem is, like in the old days, the New York Times wrote an article, or the Washington Post or somebody wrote an article about it, and they had to do research, and you didn't have it everywhere. Now nobody makes money with it. Nobody knows anything. Everybody tries to get more attention. So systemically, everybody twists and spins the story.
Yeah.
It's almost like all of a sudden this person is a pedophile. All of a sudden this is that. It's everybody spins the story, and we know nothing, and we just misdirecting everyone. So we're collectively misdirecting ourselves in systems. And so when you are feeling that by navigating, we all have to navigate systems, you pull yourself out. I said, where's the human story in this? Like I did just now. I said, where's the humans? I'm not saying, oh my God, they should have never let these people down. It's inconsequential. I said, why did they have this attention? Are we interesting? Why is this? And what is the big picture? We always see one thing. It's like, saying, okay, this film director was a bad person. We never look at the whole picture. We never look at the film director perhaps was also molested or also think. I'm not saying forgive him, not say systemically say, oh, it's all okay, everybody does what they want. No. But to bring, this is what media should do actually, not social, but regular media, to see context, to explain context. It's gone basically. I mean,
it was never there. It was always the arm of control. So
yeah, because it's systemic, and media has a great value in systems, which should give you, like politics. The original function of media should be, okay, we tell you about the system and how to navigate it. So we say, okay, Zarina, when this new law comes out, the best thing is not just freak out, but if you are a mother, you do this. If you are an employee, you do this. It should give you explanation when a law, for example, is passed or a problem happens, not to give you pages and pages of what happened, but how to see it, how to look at it from your perspective. I'm not telling you what to think. Look at me. I don't tell you, you don't telling what people think either. It's not about right or wrong. It's just be aware of it. And then you can act. You know how to act. You're one of 1 billion. You're one unique individual. You can act according, and that what media should do for humans, and then humans should do, and politicians for humans should do how understand the humans, not the politics. See, this is so reversed, and great that you asked me that question.
Yeah. To extend on expand on this question now, do you think we need governments at all if it's a human-centered, if we are aiming?
No, we do need government, because our systemic has become so intricate. Not complicated. I mean, you can say complicated, but it's so intricate that we actually need politicians but that they know the people, that they're not like privileged, only privileged, that went to the right school, did the right thing. People that have a middle class, not poor either, of a middle class life, that are the masses of our people, connect with those and help us to discover or create policies that actually work for humans. They're human-centric, not just working for the top or the bottom, that work for everyone. And you cannot tell me what is it? There's another AI question. What is AI doing to help us doing this? How can AI help us to create policies obviously with politicians, not just alone, to represent the humans of the country or whatever, of the world, with nature, protecting our nature, to integrate that in systems. And how can systems become working together with nature and humans. It's basically all in together. It's collective. We are inclusive by DNA. You know that. You know, we are by a herd animal, and that's why we are social when we are alone. And the second thing is that we all integrate and see how can we do it together. And that's what I think would be a system, would be creating human relevant systems by together, not separating, not that the system can handle it. It needs to separate man and woman. It needs to separate races. It needs to separate sexuality. It needs to separate things. How can we work together? And we got pushed into just reacting to whatever happens versus acting. Acting means, what do we want? And we had to say, hey, we want to dance. That was a decision that we made. And I think we danced pretty good.
Indeed, it was a good dance. It seems that everything is bound in a lot of complexity. You say it's not that complicated. We just need to be exquisite whenever we touch a certain subject. But in the end, it is complexity because of the malleableness of our minds and how we've been programmed. And basically, you can't connect as we started this conversation, you can't connect on a pure human-centered way with anybody else because we are somewhere else. We are in a different environment. So how do you clean up all the noises, all the environment in order to find the shortcut to the human-centered solution that would serve us?
We just did it. We did a conversation that wasn't about, is this right or is this wrong? I mean, just say a human conversation, be aware of the difference between what politics do, what media does, and what you and I do. We just did it. You don't have to adjust to me or anything. We just did it. Yeah. So we can, because we're just saying, okay, it's about human relevance. It's not system relevance. Is right, wrong, good, bad, better, best, cheaper, it's more expensive. And the relevance in the definition makes you system relevant, meaning this expensive purse is more relevant in system. You go with a Birkin bag into the jungle, it doesn't do anything. It's just a bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it has no relevance. You go to a farmer and think a Birkin bag has no relevance. It is something that a mind construct, which is systemically, we create mind construct. I mean, the whole finances works. It says, if you put $10 away for 500,000 years, then you get it's a mind construct in the future. Nobody knows what's going on in the future. I'm not saying don't save money, but it is constantly on a potential, but it's not based on reality.
Right.
The reality happens now, not in an hour, not in a minute, not in an hour, not in 10 years. The reality is right now. All you and I can actually navigate and control is this moment. Well, tomorrow could be a bomb. Tomorrow could be, and it could be also that tomorrow you wake up and they say, Zarina, here's $1 million. I'm not saying, one or the other. It's not one or the other. It's this can happen. But so we need to milk that moment of creation. So then you're fulfilled. And you know what happens? A side effect is, because I'm doing this now for 3 or 4 years, living like that. And you wake up in the morning, be happy. And even though you go types and tribulations during the day, you go to sleep happy and you don't feel, oh my God, it's already July. You never have that feeling. I don't have that feeling anymore. And I'm in my 60s. I mean, I had that feeling till I was 50 or 55. I had, oh my God, now it's already March. But everybody has that because it's a system that we adapt to. It's great that you and I meet at a certain time. It helps us to navigate, but to take time as a thing of life is systemically making your life. It's like, oh my God, I'm 60 now, I can't be relevant, you know, because in systems you're not relevant.
This is a very interesting subject about time and our perception of time and how we orient our lives and our actions and our thoughts, everything around time. This is huge.
Yeah. But it's a system, it's made up. It's made up, Zarina. Zarina, it's made up by us. Do you think we can change this? If we're the gods of systems, we are not the gods of the universe, but we are the gods of systems. And we pretend, like in the universe, that we can't do anything. That is the way it is. You know it. I'm sorry, Zarina, you can't. You're a woman. Okay, sorry. You know, you're a woman. You can't.
But what would you say then to the fact that there is nature? You know, it's time is a system construct, but it's also a natural construct too, as much as we know about it. So that means there is aging currently on planet Earth.
No, aging is a different thing than time, Zarina. Time is a different than aging, because some animals get, you know, old 2 minutes, a virus or something, and other things live, like a turtle can live 200 years. There's a different, it's not everybody has to be that. But see, the systemization, oh my God, I love that you asked that question. The systemization of you are 20, that's, you have a behavior that you should do when you're 20, 30, 40. And it's how much systemized this is. And this behavior that we have is different for everyone. It's different for a gay person, a woman, a man, a race. It is completely, you know, it's insanity, because, and how much life energy that costs is insane. And that's why I say the most powerful thing that I have found, I don't know if it works for you, but for me, is this a human-centric issue that I'm suffering or happy about, or is it a system-relevant symptom of something? Because if I'm fulfilled, it doesn't matter if I have $1 billion or $2. If I'm fulfilled every moment of my day, and that's my big, I'm milking that to get to that. If I can be fulfilled, or I can access that fulfillment every second of the day, it doesn't matter if I drive a Ferrari or go or walk.
Yeah,
I'm fulfilled. It doesn't matter what kind of job I do, I'm fulfilled. If I can do that, that's the absolute win.
So you're saying that when it comes to aging, it's human-centeredness to say I have either enough energy or I don't have enough energy, but it's artificial system construct to say I am 60, so therefore I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yeah, be sick, be fat, be not healthy, have white hair, have this. And if you be aware of that, it has impact. I'm not saying you're not dying. I'm not saying you're not aging, but not every of the 8 billion unique people with their own DNA, their own irises, their own fingerprints are supposed to age the same way. There's some people that have to retire with 45 because they can't do it anymore. And other people that can work till 90 or 100. It is a systemic, so to say, and now the system says, see, the system doesn't say that. What the system says is when you are 60, 65, you can retire. And now we run out of money. Oops, sorry, you have to work a thing. Where is the human centricity in that? Where is the, so you're taking advantage of, we take it, because we are the creators of systems, we are navigating, and we have agreed to abide them. But we give our lives till 60, and then we want to, because that was the promise. Again, it's promising that the promises of systems are not like from a human. And then you get 60 and your body is so destroyed because you're constantly sacrificing and adapting and using all that energy to be good in religion, to go to your religion, to your politics, to your work, to the marriage, all these systems you're adapting to. And then you're 60 and say, okay, now I should be having fun. now I can't feel my bones. I can't feel this. I'm getting diabetes. I'm getting all these diseases that made me a good work animal. And, you know, and to save money, I ate cheap. I didn't eat the right thing. And it's all on potential. We never live in the moment. We are just like, you know, you want to save money and eat cheaper food. And that food is cheap for a reason. And you eat all the crap with it. You're making lifestyle. Oh, I'm working through the night. You make lifestyle changes to fend for yourself, to be, and then you always have that thing in your mind. And the big disappointment if you haven't found yourself till that's what we said at the beginning. You know, you go to school, you don't find yourself, you get indoctrinated right on what system indoctrinated. This is no a bad evil person that says things. No, we chose all that. And I believe this is the education system I work, that you have to find yourself first, and then it's easy to be in human-centric systems, and then it can be a dance with the system till you retire or never retire. You know, because if my thing is what I do is very fulfilling, I never want to retire because I get so much juice out of it.
Yeah, talks about systems can have a different cut though, and this is the unconscious energy information system that that we are influenced by. So when you're talking about systems, it's more like a specific physical construct, or it could be also a mental construct. But these energy information systems that I'm talking about, they are energetic systems that can be related to a morphogenic field. So this means that if you plug yourself, now I'm speaking about a different level, looking at the same thing that you're talking about, but from a different perspective. So if you're plugging yourself onto an artificial system of a person that has to work and support their family and follow the rules and the hamster wheel, you know, spin the hamster wheel, they're also plugged to this energy information system. It's a morphological field or morphogenic field. I'm not quite sure how you, which one of the two terms is the correct one. But it is a field that gives you the information on how to express your materiality out of consciousness. So this means how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to think. It gives you the construct of you. But let's say if at some point you plug yourself into an energy information system that says now you're going to be aging backwards because these and these people have been doing this in the Amazon jungle or in the Tibetan mountains, then you plug yourself into this system, and then your construct starts to express this information on the material physical level differently. What do you think about that?
No, I think it's possible, but still everything that is created has a shelf life. You know that it's just everything that's in nature as well. In, you know, whatever your shelf life is. If you're like a turtle, you're gonna be 200 years old. But if you are like a bacteria, you're gonna be short. I mean, every human is unique. And also you need to consider also the energy, what you're surrounded. If you're the tribe that you are in, even though your mind, your mindset is different, is Amazon, but you are in a tribe in Vienna, so, for example, and everybody around them believes with 50, this is what it is, or with 60 is over. Then you have to use again your life force to constantly condition yourself, to pull yourself out. But it's possible. It's 100% possible, because I've never felt better in my life than I was in my 60s. I've never felt better in my life. But I was a sick child and all this stuff. But I've never felt more alive, aware, being fulfilled, and whatever. And nothing has changed financially, or where I think I'm just it's purely perception. That's why I say, if you just perceive it, the perception, just to look where am I from, it's more truth that you are from nature, a part of nature, then you are from a system, and no human says, oh, we are born by systems. No, but we are conditioned by systems. And when you are conditioned by systems over generation, it's in your DNA. You know, it's like, why? Because look at the PTSD. I mean, science says that, and this is completely scientific. When you have your parents, your grandfather was at the Korean War, you can have PTSD. Your kids, 5 generations later, have PTSD, and because the DNA is not fixedly structured, it's malleable, which we know. I mean, I don't think officially it's thing, but pretty much everybody knows, or a lot of people know. So, and then this fact that you had a trauma in your past, that trauma is transferred 5 generations later with a PTSD is the first one that they think, and with mice up to 7 years. So when you rattle a cage from a mice, they go freak out when you hit it one time, they freak out still 5 to 7 generations afterwards. You know, so we are a work in progress, and this is another thing that helps, is that your life isn't a fixed thing; it's a process. And you never die, your inner child never dies. It's all at the same time, but in time space, to be physical, you need time space, but the natural time space, not the time space, it is 3 o'clock right now. It's the time space that is in nature, where you have a certain time to exist, and then your physicalness disintegrates. Like a tree gets old, you know, everything. An animal, you know, dogs live 7, 8, 9 years. You know, it's as long as you live. That's a natural time, versus the other time is a systemic time that we say, and then we apply it because we are adaptable. So we say, how can we do? Okay, with 60, you have to have a cancer risk. No, you don't. You don't have to have a cancer risk with 60. I mean, before 40 years ago, when you had a growth, you cut the growth out. Today it's precancerous, it's systemized, it's already conditioning. Now it's a precancer, and you know, it's just how the system we make it. I mean, if I'm dyslexic and neurodiverse, and dysgraphia. So I was told in school, you're dyslexic, dysgraphia, and now everybody finds out, oh, this actually could be a superpower, because their brain is different and whatever. And I think, yeah, everything you have is a superpower. If you're a race of that is nothing, that there's very few people, like Native Americans, that's a superpower. You're Black, that's a superpower. You're Asian, that's a superpower. You everything is a superpower. 8 billion people, each is one, and we can all help each other to see heaven on earth, and to, you know, feel God. You want to feel God? Hang out with other people.
Yeah, or with yourself, because you're a social animal.
Yeah.
Just the last thing I have to mention it, because I find it also very important when you're it has to do with again, the morphogenic fields and the way information is transported genetically. We believe that it's all on a material level, like the gene transports the gene 6 generations or 7 generations back. It transports PTSD. You know, when you mentioned the people from the ancestors of that were in the Vietnamese War, Vietnam War. But actually, there are cases where people or women give birth to children that are with a different color. Let's say the mother is white, and they give birth to a Black child, even though they had not been with a Black person, right? They had been with a white person, and this has happened multiple times. Can't remember at the moment what the terminology of this thing is, but it happens with animals as well. And it's a proven fact that the energy of the mother memorizes sometimes, when it's very intense, the image of the partner that she had loved. So it could be that she imprints the DNA of this person onto the child. It's happened multiple
Oh,
times.
absolutely. I believe that absolutely.
Yes.
And I heard actually yesterday that 40% of when they do DNA testing, 40% of kids are not from the right parent. 40%.
Well, that's a different
So,
question.
and they find it out, they find it,
Mhm.
but they're only in the context of when somebody's sick and you check out, can you have a donor, or there's a paternity suit and there's, so when DNA is tested, 40% of the tested, not everybody, that doesn't mean 40% of people are unfaithful.
Yeah.
But when they're tested, 40% are not concurrent with the father.
Yeah. Well, we don't know what this is caused and whether the physical DNA is actually changed, but apparently if a child can be born with a different skin color, the DNA has to be different as well, right? Even though
it's just a marker. It's one marker. It's
exactly.
one marker.
Exactly. And so the same with PTSD. This doesn't mean that it's carried in the genes, but it is in the morphogenic field that give the expression of these genes in the physical from
of course.
the
That's even more. That's I got you.
Yeah. All right. Michaell, thank you so much for this talk, for this dance.
It was beautiful. I really loved it. Yeah. You too.
Where can people read your blog, your latest article, for which actually you sent me a piece of it, and that's why I wanted to speak to you, because it was so interesting.
Which one? The one on podcast, or what was it?
Your latest article, and you sent me a part of it on LinkedIn, and I said, okay, let's talk about it again. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, we didn't even talk. So that's another thing. We haven't even talked. No, michaellam.com, Michael with 2 L's, m.com. And you get my LinkedIn, you get my art, my music, my paintings, all my podcasts that I did, and books that I wrote, and everything.
What are some of the titles of the books that you wrote?
Dangerous Blood is my first book. That was a screenplay. Die Gunst der Kunst was a German that I talk a lot about the product already and the process. Then The Smart of Art. Then how to how to place public art, because I was an arts commissioner in Newport Beach. So I found people don't know how to place. They buy the best art, but they don't know how to place it. And they think everybody thinks they know how to place art, and they make it very simple. What else did? Oh, I did 300 paintings in 3 days, and I did this process. I showed this process and wrote about it, and you see all 300 people paintings.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
And those are it. And then now I'm doing the system book, the system relevant versus human relevant. That's right now almost finished.
Okay, I didn't know you were an artist apart from everything else that you're doing. You're very productive.
I learned everything from art. That was my education. From art creation was my education. It wasn't my education. I have no education because I'm so extremely neurodiverse. So my education, all my wisdom, all my the people that what they say, oh my God, I can't believe you're saying that, is actually through art creation and being in the artist community. Yeah. And that's why I say it's more important to the art creation than the product, because I'm not famous for my art products.
Thank you so much. It's been a true pleasure, and hope to have you back again. Maybe we can talk about your article that I'm finally to read.
Yeah.
Actually, I did read it, but I forgot it, but I'm going to reread it again.
I think it was about podcasting. I think it was why the power of podcasts and why podcasts surpassed Netflix last month.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I think podcasts surpassed Netflix last month.
Exactly. And I wanted to show a graph, but we'll do this next time, talking about, Okay, great. Thank you so much, Michaell.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.